How's it going, everybody? It's Juansgalt with the Sovereign Bitcoin Podcast. I've got a very special guest for you guys today, Mr. Max Hillebrand. And he is a Bitcoin maximalist, open software activist, and advocate. And he's going to tell us about Nodl. It's a Bitcoin node in a box company. It's a very cool machine, black, slick, with a cool button. And it comes with a bunch of open source software that a lot of people that appreciate this maximalist Bitcoin vision that that has sort of been reborn since the past couple of years of drama, 3-4 years of drama. I think they'll appreciate it because it has a lot of very interesting, very good software. And we're going to talk all about it. Before we get there, though, I'm going to be doing a speech at Anarchapulco 2018. It's a big anarcho-capitalist conference in Mexico. You've probably heard me talk about it before, since I've gone to every single one, and I lived in Acapulco for a while, and I mingled with their community, and I'm friends with a lot of people there. And I'm going to be giving a speech alongside some of the biggest Liberty names alive today. I mean, Ron Paul's going to be there. Doug Casey's going to be there. George Napolitano's going to be there. There's some really big names this year, so I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be giving a speech on Bitcoin, multi-generational wealth, and some of the inheritance problems around crypto that remain pretty much unaddressed, for the exception of one person in one book, and you'll hear more about this as when the day comes. And I'm also going to be giving a presentation, not a presentation, a workshop there, teaching people how to secure their crypto wealth and their digital assets using normal, easy to use, popular tools. This is not for James Bond. This is not for super secret top agent anonymous, badasses. This is for normal crypto people. This is for new users. This is for people that are into crypto, that want to feel more confident in their security and help them protect themselves against the most popular attacks. Things like phone number hijacking, email hijacking, and user error, help you make it easy so that you don't have to reuse passwords. Just getting rid of all the easy hacks that expose you to theft in the internet age. So stay tuned. Check out the link below, Byobank.info. It's going to be good. Don't miss out. Now, Nodl, Max Hillebrand. Let's dive into it.
Thank you, Juan, for the invitation. Really glad to join you here. I loved all your work with all the previous outlets, and I'm looking forward to your podcast. So I'm already subscribed and glad to join the show.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. You're working with a very good team, the Nodl team. You guys are developing a Bitcoin node, Lightning node on a box that lets you have basically the vision of sovereignty that we really have to become a lot more conscious of as Bitcoin grows out of our cultural niche, in a sense. Tell us about that. You just went to the 35C3 conference. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, roughly woken up from yesterday's New Year. So remind me the name of the conference.
Well, it was the 35th Chaos Communication Congress, and it has been going on in Germany for quite a while now, 35 years. And it was amazing. It was really cool. I think 16,000 people were there, a bunch of cool presentations, and of course the Bitcoin assembly with all the Bitcoiners. And we were hacking along, building Bitcoin, building the Lightning Network, and especially showing the Raspberry Blitz, the Raspberry Bolt. It's like a one-click install for the Raspberry Pi of a Bitcoin full node and a Lightning node. And that's super awesome. I love Raspberry Pis. I love the Raspberry Blitz, because for I think $70 you can get your financial self-sovereignty on a slow machine. Yes, but still, it's $70 for the cheapest little computer, the Raspberry Pi. And it's super powerful to have this tiny device fully make your own financial rules, verify these rules, and then enforce them and kick everyone out of your network that does not play according to your rules. Right? And Bitcoin full nodes are everything. That's why we're doing this here in Bitcoin. But it is especially needed for the Lightning Network, because for having truly trustless payments in the Lightning Network, you have to run your own full node. And this Lightning Network gives an extra incentive for peers to going out there and actually building their own node for their own financial self-sovereignty. So putting all that together in the Raspberry Bolt, and of course the Nodl here, which I have next to me, is fantastic.
Absolutely. Can you show us the Nodl? For those that are on video, yeah, those on podcast, you can check it out. Look them up on Twitter, and we have the video on Facebook and YouTube. It's a beautiful little machine. I'm not seeing it on the camera. I get a little bit low there. There we
It's
go.
yes,
You got all
it
kinds of
really
stickers
is.
on it.
It is
Yeah,
so
it's a
it
beautiful
has absolutely like it's a bit larger. Like right next to here is a Raspberry Pi, which used to run my Bitcoin full node. Now it's the Nodl, of course, so it is a tiny bit bigger. But I mean that just gives it more power because it has the SD card directly in here, so you do not need any extra cables other than the Ethernet and the power cable. And this right here, this little bridge connects the ROC 64 board, which is much more powerful than the Raspberry Pi board, with your SSD hard drive. So super convenient. It looks rigid. It really is made to last. All metal, no plastic crap.
Yeah, it looks tough.
Yes, and of course, sticker the heck out of it. Like UASF, that is the war which gives us the motivation of us to building this device. UASF proved that full nodes own and control Bitcoin. And that is very powerful. So running your own node because of UASF, because of financial self-sovereignty, that is absolutely why this honey badger is so resilient. And of course, don't trust, right? That's why we run a full node, because we do not want to trust any intermediary, any other participant in the network. And of course, we're reckless because there's exactly we're reckless with Lightning and all the other stuff in Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Very well decorated Nodl, very cool machine, and we're seeing a few of these kind of products show up. Obviously, we have the Casa node. I believe there's somebody else working on one, another team working on
we have Lightning in a box also. We have Bitseed, of course, now for a while. I know like a couple other people working on similar devices. I mean, that's awesome, right? We want to have as many companies working on plug and play nodes as we can, right? So if you want to run a Raspberry Pi node, like use the Raspberry Blitz or buy the Casa node. If you want something more powerful, get the Bitseed or the Dojo that is coming out by Samurai, which is partnered with Bitseed.
That's awesome. And it's a
Or
great
some
business
Nook
model for
PCs.
wallets. Because wallets have had a real hard time making money in the past few years. And only hardware wallets have really made a great business because they're in the hardware space. So it makes a lot of sense for Samurai to launch one. We don't have a lot of time today, unfortunately, because my battery is dying, and we just wanted to do kind of like a little quick wrap up. But you took the Nodl on a road trip to this famous Hackers Congress.
Oh yes, absolutely. So first, when you start the Nodl, it synced for me personally in 40 hours. So that was lightning fast from scratch, so block 0 to block 550,000 and wherever. And we even had it running faster before that with just above 24 hours. So it syncs really fast because it is such a powerful board. And then I could quickly take this on a bus trip with me to Leipzig. So I had this little boy running. Together on here a little power bank, so that was nice. And you connect it to your 4G hotspot, or even 3G was enough. It worked on the shitty Autobahn with shitty internet connection. And then you can literally control your financial self-sovereignty on the road while you're on a bus. So that is fantastic. Of course, you can do that with Raspberry Pi as well. But just like seeing this powerful hardware work with a regular battery pack, and it's fantastic.
That's great. Do you see this kind of software and everything that is in the Nodl moving to, let's say, an Android device or some sort of mobile phone type space at some point?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Nodl works perfectly well with a smartphone, because smartphones are not yet powerful enough, but they theoretically could be. But I especially like the communication from the Nodl to your phone. So, for example, once you have set up your Lightning payment, or once you've installed LND on here, you can simply connect it to your Android or iOS wallet. So, for example, SAP is a beautiful user interface where you can do all the management of your Bitcoin full node, and especially your Lightning network, payment channels and everything. You just do that on the Jewel browser extension, or the Spark wallet on Android, or the SAP wallet on iOS. So this is everything that you need in Bitcoin on a dedicated always-on device that you can control with any device wherever you are if you have a VPN connection. So that is truly powerful. I believe that such a device is like a router, your internet router, where you have a physical device that is always on, that is always connecting you to the internet. And next to it, you have this little Nodl or another full node that is doing all your banking, all your business, all your financial powerhouse station. And that is ultimately also a weapon of self-defense, just like a internet router is a tool to give you freedom of speech. The Nodl is a tool that gives you access to your financial self-sovereignty.
100%. 100%. Speaking of self-sovereignty, this January 3rd, we're going to begin a very exciting, very interesting celebration. It is Genesis, it is Bitcoin Genesis Day. January 3rd, 2009 was the day the Genesis blocks was launched by Satoshi, and Bitcoin as a blockchain began to churn and do its magic. And this January 3rd, we're going to celebrate the 10th anniversary, the 10th birthday of Bitcoin. And we're going to do an intentional run on the crypto banks, spearheaded by the great Trace Mayer. This guy's as OG as you can find him. And he created something called Proof of Keys. That's what he named it. And the goal here is to get as many people as possible to withdraw their funds from the exchanges for many reasons. One of them being that is kind of like the point of Bitcoin and crypto is so that you control your wealth, not so that you trust some third-party institution that's highly regulated. Also, so that you learn how to do it and understand sort of the process, right? So that you can learn how to protect that in case you need to, because a lot of these exchanges, I mean, they've been hacked, they've been taken down, they run with the money sometimes, you know. I mean, they've gotten a lot better over time, but government has seized servers and exchange wallets and stuff. So you never know. At some point, you might start hearing rumors, and you're gonna want to make an actual run at the bank. And this is a great preparation ceremony. And so this January 3rd, this is going to happen, and the Nodl is a great companion for this kind of, be your own bank type of option that we have here. I'm going to be doing a workshop at Anarchapulco 2019 this February, mid-February. I'll be walking people through the best tools and paths to claim and protect your digital identity and your Bitcoin private keys and all your passwords to your social media stuff. How to have a really secure digital fort of sorts with very easy to use tools that you can test out and see if you like it. So stay tuned for that. You'll be hearing a lot more about that soon. Max, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this Proof of Keys celebration?
Oh, absolutely. I love it because that is what Bitcoin is all about. Quite funny that just before Trace released these videos, I released a couple of videos talking about fractional reserve in Bitcoin and what that is actually all about. And it goes hand in hand with Proof of Keys. So fractional reserve basically means if you have your gold coins, right? If you have your gold and Bitcoin coins and you store them on your person physically, well, then you have 2 gold Bitcoins, right? That's it. But if you give them to a money warehouse, to a warehouse that stores your gold coins, then they can give you a paper certificate on that, right? And if we have that analogy in Bitcoin, of course, you can own your own private keys, or you can control them on your hardware wallet device. And then you have 1 Bitcoin, right? 1 Bitcoin is 1 Bitcoin. But as soon as you go to something like Coinbase or Mt. Gox, then they give you a paper receipt, a Bitcoin token that is not registered by the cryptography defined in Nakamoto consensus, right? So that means you get a paper receipt, a paper certificate, just a token that represents Bitcoin. But it's not Bitcoin, it's not gold itself. And then what the money warehouse can do is it can issue additional paper receipts on top of your money, on top of your gold. So all of a sudden, the bank says you have 100 paper receipts, but they are only backed by 10 ounces or 10 gold coins. And this, of course, is fractional reserve. And same can happen in Bitcoin. Look at Mt. Gox, where they have lost Bitcoin, but they still claimed on paper that they had more Bitcoin in reserve than they actually had on the blockchain. And thus, this is fractional reserve. So that is no joke. That is actually happening since pretty much day one. And custodial wallets are for cowards, right? It's for those that do not have the guts to defend their financial self-sovereignty by controlling your own keys. So of course it is valid, right? There are people who do not want to have full self-sovereignty over themselves, and it's, well, they just like that.
Let's not. I mean, I agree that is. See, part of the dilemma is that it's actually there is a learning curve, and I suspect there's a lot of people that are intimidated by it, that are not concerned, right? And there's certainly going to be some people that don't have the courage to do it, and the sad reality is the marketplace will select for the the wisest and the bravest in a way. Hopefully, free market should at least. But I think I would love to see a world where everybody's going to hold their own keys, and the key thing is that there is a path to do it, and it's getting easier and easier. And I don't expect everybody to do it, but if you don't, then you can't complain about the powers that be. You can't be saying, oh, they're the elite this, the elite that. If you don't hold your own keys, you are giving them your consent. So just know what you're doing, and know that there is a way out. And I think there's a lot of new people in the space this last year that haven't really experienced what we have experienced. But those that know, it's completely on them if they get hit by one of these this crypto banks.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like financial self-sovereignty is not easy. It is rather difficult. And we need tools that help us to defend ourselves against the powers to not be that want to take this away from us. So absolutely. We need tools like we need hardware wallets. This makes controlling your own keys 1,000 times more easy than having to generate new paper wallets after 100 transactions, right? And writing each private key down by hand severally. That is nonsense. Now we have hierarchical deterministic wallets that run on a hardware wallet, so you can generate unlimited amount of addresses by just having one backup. Super convenient. Having a complete offline device that runs here with a SD card and you use only partially signed Bitcoin transaction, like most cutting edge cryptography and security, then this is, these are tools that we need. It's not that the Nodl is completely 100% needed, right? It's just, it is a nice tool to have, precisely because it is not just quote unquote a Bitcoin full node. It's not just quote unquote a Lightning full node. It also has, for example, your BTC Pay server, which means you can run a complete online store on your own device with your own keys, hosting your own website, your own server. That is amazing.
Exactly. No deplatforming like with Patreon. A lot of public speakers, people that are dealing with difficult topics and being civil about it, are getting kicked off of Patreon because who knows exactly why. I guess MasterCard is getting sensitive. And so they're literally giving us the internet, which is very, very exciting. But that means we have to have a more robust financial system on the internet. And I'm very excited. I feel like they're basically giving us the internet.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the deplatforming thing, yeah, you don't have a tool to self-defense on Patreon. They do not give you this tool. So claim it, take it, build it yourself. And it's like Bitcoin even goes beyond the internet. Because you can run a Nodl, hopefully very soon, on GoTenas, right? So you have mesh networks where you can send and receive transactions connected to your GoTena with your Nodl over the newly released USB STK kit. Wow. We built at the Hackers Congress, Chaos Communications Congress. We were working on the Blockstream satellite node. So we had a satellite dish there, tried to hook it up with the Blockstream satellite, and this could be theoretically connected to a Nodl as well. Right? So you can run your own financial battle station completely off the grid, where no one even knows that you're running it because, well, the Blockstream satellites are beamed on the world all over the place. So you just have to pick up the signal. All this is possible, like today. We just have to make it happen.
It's getting easier by the day. And part of the magic is that it's, to whatever degree this is difficult to do today, that's the degree to which there's opportunity to get in early on and be at the edges and in 10, 20 years be one of the experts, one of the best positioned people in what is likely to become a leading financial industry in the world. So very exciting. We're running out of time. Thank you so much, Max, for being here. People, check out the Nodl, Twitter, Facebook. Give us the websites. Where can they find you and the Nodl?
Oh yeah, let me just share screen. So this is the Nodl Twitter page. Got a new logo, got stickers now, and here we have the website Lightning Solutions, or especially like Nodl.it. New website coming very soon, so this might be outdated, but go check it out. The startup guide is super easy, and you can now get your Nodl box. Extremely simple by just accepting Bitcoin, so none of other shitcoins like fiat. And Piers, thank you very much for the great response to the Nodl. We already shipped these first 21 units, and getting feedback, and now all of them are running and working. That is fantastic. So the user experience is extremely simple. You can just it's plug it in, press one button, and that's literally it. And it is a nice tool, a weapon of self-defense. And come and claim it. It's yours to take. This is open source hardware and software.
We can have financial sovereignty. Are you going to claim it?
Yes, it's up to you.
Waiting to give you your sovereignty. You're going to take it. Are you man enough to take it?